Go. We're gonna do our picture-in-picture on the OpTic and Pure series. This is gonna be another good one. Shock rifles gonna be the first thing they look at here in their match.
Oh man, the action is heating up. The intensity is too. We got OpTic taking on Pure. A little bit of picture-in-picture. The LVT split screen. Yeah, let's jump on board here. Let's see what the early goings look like of this match. Pure going 2 down, make it 3. No, Dead Zone goes down instead, but it's Lucid making it away with some points in the Shock.
Lucid wants to put it to work here. Wants to put Pure to rest. They've had quite a run this tournament, and they have been on a tear as of late. Not just in this tournament, but other tournaments as well. Ooh, nice quick scope shot from Lucid there. That's what he's known for, but look at the jitter strafe out of Talik. That's a very difficult target to hit with a shock rifle.
So much Halo. So much intense Halo at that. It's not just Halo. This ain't your matchmaking lobbies with Billy Bobby. Like, this is OpTic Gaming versus Pure. We got Complexity taking on Sen on the other side as 4:20 left on the clock. Talik pushing through into the cafe. Thought he got to finish there on formal. That's why you saw him turn his reticle. But despite that, I hate that when I think I got the slay and I turn thinking I got it and then they take me down. He still finds a way to trade. Get a +1. Does Talik. He gets back on the screen after a respawn. 2 go down for OpTic, and Cherish now has the shock, and he's got the sticky repulsor combination loaded. I guess really the only way to get that optimal, almost like this is overpowered efficiency now, Eli, from repulsor, is to have a sticky tag with it.
It's kind of its own power weapon. We talk about like on streets that Stalker's the only power weapon left. I'd argue, I don't know, the sticky repulse are right beside each other right there. If you know how to use it, can guarantee a couple of slays. So here look to take a 1-0 lead in this one. Before we changed gears, it looked like Complexity took a 3-2 lead in that their King of the Hill match. And this is good. I mean, OpTic looked like they were in control at the start, but Pure right the ship and earned the first point.
I did want to bring up a quick point. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
I'll let it rip, Boo. What do you got?
Just a quick little detail I noticed earlier. Lucid with shock rifle and sniper rifle. I know it's a couple minutes ago now, but Talik, like, trusting his strafe and trusting his ability to stand in the pocket there and, you know, put the shots down, and Lucid ends up taking him down. I mean, I think any of the 3 of us, you know, we're in that situation. We see one of the best players in the game in front of us with a shot. Like, we're trying to get out of there, right? We're trying to get out of dodge, but Talik, you know, believing in himself, believing in his ability, believing that he's got what it takes to take down a power weapon player in that moment, and Lucid, and I mean, it paid off for him.
And Pure take the 1-0 lead, so the fearlessness from Talik turns into points. It's all about turning slays into points. A slay in Halo Infinite is not enough. It's what you do with it, like JGX just said. And Pure having a little bit more efficiency in the early goings, but off of the reset on this A-Hill, OpTic are on a tear, about to just completely dominate Hill number 2 and tie up this match after 3 go down for Pure. Their call from the coach, Trey Try, after all 4. No, Drunk has a double kill, so the last Spartan standing. I still think Trey Try calls for GG go next, and it looks like that's what they're setting up for. Ooh, but OpTic step out of the hill to draw Pure in to waste more time and force Pure to not get that early rotation that Trey might have just called for. Masterful work countered by the coach Lunchbox.
Wow, now that they've shut down Drunk, they immediately cap it. The process is clear and on display for OpTic. That's the name of their documentary for a reason. The process, these guys are all about it. They have a rhyme to their reason, always. And this is the type of OpTic we're used to seeing. We saw them kind of get blown out in that reverse sweep from Complexity last night. They've had all night to think about it, and I think they're coming a bit more correct this morning.
It looked like Sentinels and Complexity were tied 3-3 with 30 seconds left in our picture-in-picture. 1-1 here between OpTic Gaming and Pure. Both of these lower quarterfinals tied up. The action is only heating up. Talik with a sticky takes down 1, looking for the double frag toss. Trippy's not going to be baited by that damage. Instead, works his way into the cafe, pushes Talik down. Down to 1 HP. Absolute gets his shields back, but not long enough. Trippy had his number.
Man, watching Talik stay alive against OpTic makes me feel a lot better about playing against this guy in matchmaking and never being able to kill the guy. He just survives so incredibly well in so many different situations that other players would have just died 30 seconds prior. But he finds a way to survive, and on Hunter JJX's note earlier about that strafe in the face of the shock rifle player, I feel like his movement, when you jitter strafe that fast, even if the player could line up the shot for a full 5 seconds, it's going to be hard to land a perfect kill headshot. So Tolic is really a master of movement and such a difficult kill.
That's a true point. Like, if you're strafing that fast, you got to realize the shock rifle is a burst, right? So you're not stationary enough for, you know, the 3 rounds of the burst to hit you if you're just skipping all over the screen, basically. So yeah, that's a great point.
1-1 tie here as Pure at the edge on hill number 3 and a slight numbers advantage, but OpTic tie it up after taking down Druck. Camo up soon, but priority for OpTic is to prevent Pure from scoring this second hill. Pure could score and rotate and pick up Camo all in one fell swoop, but the timing in the next couple of slays are going to determine that. Formal takes down Cherish. The quick shot counts on the Druck now, but he's getting shot in the back by Last Shot. Focuses his attention on him, but Last Shot takes him down anyways. And it looks like Pure will do exactly what we referenced. Might just time up the hill cap with a camo grab. Shock is up as well. It must be the 6-minute mark.
Such a crucial point in the game. Pure take the 2-1 lead. 2 minutes left on the clock. This one's certainly not over yet. Both teams going to fight for the sandbox, though. Last Shot going to somehow get away with the camo. Tolic has the shock as well, so Pure have the lead and all the tools in the sandbox, but no, Trippy and Dead Zone shut both players down, and at least that gun will trade hands. Can OpTic hold on to this hill, though? This is one of the harder hills to capture.
140 left on the clock, so this is a must-score situation for OpTic Gaming, but it's Pure in the hill instead. Cherish with it, but with low HP, he wants to make sure he survives. Rotating and flanking the damage he was initially taking here from the bend, and Lucid, oh, the timing expected. I don't know if that was a call out, maybe Trippy saw him. Nonetheless, Lucid with the game sense and awareness. He's got the accuracy to match. He's got the shock rifle in his hands. Looking for an opponent, and he seems to be a little confused by the situation. Where did Cherish go? Now he finds him. Cherish, 1v1 with Lucid. Shock rifle hits, but it's just a body. And Cherish is going to still be such a difficult slay. Lucid, Cherish is giving him fits.
I mean, the longer that Cherish stays alive and wastes their time, the less comfortable OpTic feel to get in the hill in a situation where they absolutely have to. Finally, Cherish and Druck go down, and Lucid is comfortable enough to stay in the hill. He's going to sit here with the shock rifle. I like this play to get out, though. It is sensing there could have been spawners on the blue side of the map, wants to shut them down. Once he sees Trippy spawn there, has now confirmed to himself and others that that is not the direction that Pure are coming from. But look at the response. Perfect grenade to the forehead from Druck. Could not have asked for a better placed grenade.
Yeah, OpTic are signaling a hybrid strategy here. They're still going to play for time on the hill, but only if they have a numbers advantage. They're not going to sit in it while they need more slays. So in the final waning moments of game number 1, the clock ticking away. OpTic trying to drain the life force out of Pure, and they're doing a pretty good job of it. Lucid flanks through, spots an opponent, takes down the second one in his sights, knowing that his teammate would clean up on the other. Great process being played here. And OpTic, you can see, up by 2. It's a +2, so with that, they're going to stay in the hill. Is +1 strong enough to stay in it? Not with Lucid taking that grenade, so with 28 seconds left, they step out. But they're in the lead, needing this score. As Druck takes down Trippy on the flowers. OpTic have to play this so meticulously well to come back in this one and tie it 2.
Camo eyes on these guys. Dead Zone got deleted from existence while full camo, and that could be what wins them this game. They've been unable to recover ever since that moment. They were kind of counting on Dead Zone to keep themselves alive in this game, but all of a sudden it's Pure taking a 1-0 lead against OpTic Gaming.
Okay.
What a game 1, and that's the guy on the screen I want to see. I want to know what prescription he's got in those glasses lenses, because Eli, he saw him on lens from snipe jump. Do we realize that Druck saw camo from snipe jump up all the way to top ledge? Absolutely insane eyeballs on that guy. That, like you said, Eli, I think that was an absolute game changer, momentum breaker, because for a second there, you thought OpTic had it locked up, right? Like, I thought they were going to tie it for sure. They've got camo. They're going to be able to watch the push, get all the damage. But no, they completely negate that and seal the deal there on that win. Some excellent discipline down the stretch there from the Pure roster. Another thing that I noticed was they didn't get antsy, right? Like, they didn't start doing the solo pushes. They kind of stuck to their game plan, reinforcing their numbers and taking their time on each push, Mikowski, to make sure that they were able to get those breaks.
Yeah, the camel eyes there, like taking a water bottle into the desert. That was huge. And yeah, Druck got to have some enhanced eyeballs with that prescription glasses he's got on, because that was hard to see. I know camo's a lot easier to see here in Season 3. It's almost like it's a Ed Hardy t-shirt on the Straight Rippin' Boys from 2008. I call it sometimes because it just seems to shimmer and glow almost, as opposed to obscuring the visibility. But that was difficult for Druck to pick up, but he still picks it up as we switch back into our Complexity versus Sentinels series. Sentinels taking game 1 and up big in game 2.
And this is not what I want to see, right? You know, as you know, as someone who, you know, a little bit biased towards Complexity, I was hoping we would see the Sentinels from yesterday, but apparently some of the comments we were making on stream woke these guys up, and they've been on an absolute heater today. And continuing with that momentum, they ended up taking that game 1 and are currently up 9 here on Street Slayer versus Complexity. Eli, you've been in this situation. You're dropping down from winners, playing against a hot team and losers. How do you turn that around? How do you get momentum back on your side?
You got to take a long bathroom break after you lose this game. Like, you want to make sure you change the tide, man. You got to ice these guys out a little bit because they're clearly playing with a very high pace. Ryan not being the main Slayer we've seen him be the last couple of days, but it's just so hard to break the momentum of a team like Sentinels that are just feeling themselves, right? You got to somehow change the energy in the comms. You've got to make sure that the team is fired up and locked in. You've got to kind of match the energy of the other team, but sometimes in the heat of the moment, it's very difficult. I think between games 2 and 3 is where Complexity need to right the ship.
Yeah, it's a hard ask, but these guys are professionals, right? And we just see a double kill coming in there from Rain. He's grabbing the camo. Complexity, I mean, you never want to go down 0-2 in a series, Mikowski. It's not impossible to reverse sweep, and we saw Complexity actually reverse sweep OpTic yesterday, but still, you don't want to stack the deck against you like that.
Yeah, it's just the difference between, we talked about it earlier, 1-1 tie versus 2-0, where you need 3 in a row versus winning 2 out of 3. I mean, simple math, right? Eli will appreciate that. It's just, it completely changes the tone of the series when you can launch things up at 1, which is what Complexity is trying to do. Switching gears here to OpTic versus Pure off the start. Pure take it by taking down 3 for OpTic, but they do manage 2 and eventually tie things up after the slay on Talik. Most importantly, they might just get Stalker camo.
Get the Stalker, but that gets shut down. Druck with some more great grenades. I swear I see this man get more grenade kills than just about anyone. Always putting them in the right place at the right time. His sense of timing is off the charts, as are his teammates, and I think that's a big reason they've been seeing some massive success as of late. They just seem to read situations very well and play almost flawlessly through a majority of them. So far against OpTic, though, it's even 7-7 formal. Pushed up on the cafe side, being reinforced by Dead Zone. They certainly have something in mind here. Probably going to wait for Lucid to make the called shot here.
Lucid on the bench right now to start game 2. 2-3. He has contributed with the assist and a little bit of damage, but we don't expect Lucid to be Goosed much longer. He works his way through top side of heaven. Druck down to low HP. That should be his first kill, but no, not able to clean him up. Druck, another one of those guys in the HCS that are such a difficult kill, and oh my god, that would have been a big win. Lucid finally gets off the board, stays alive in the cuts, and now OpTic positioning themselves for not only the lead, but for the next camo too.
I was gonna say he was playing a little loosey-goosey there on the sticks, right, for a little bit there. Not what we're used to seeing. But once again, I got to point out, I am a sucker for the details. Eli, did you see that nade that he threw where he banked it off of the laundry tires and it went up into tires like from bottom mid? Student of the game, understands the details. That kind of stuff absolutely is amazing to me. But what is going on here in the Complexity versus Sentinels game? It's tied up 48-48.
48 all. Hopping on board here with Lethal. World champion in his own right, but it's Huss on the other side that gets the slay on a Falcated 49-46 actually, so Complexity in a much better spot than we anticipated, but Sentinels get the next slay. It's just a 2-kill game, but that will do it! Street Slayer! Eli, we talked about this. Hunter, we talked about this earlier. If there's any benefit to this Halo World Championship warm-up presented by Complexity, it's that you're going to know the maps and game modes that you need to work on. The map and game mode combination that Sentinels absolutely throw routinely on is Slayer Streets. It's ridiculous. They're up by double digits.
Yeah, that's a problem. You gotta write this shit. Yeah, like, you gotta look at the stat screen and see, like, okay, how many times have we been up and came back and, like, study this film, see what teams are doing against you. They're just setting up pushes. We saw the how Complexity approached that situation to come back into it. They've got to study those matches and come correct next week. Only got a week to figure it out, but I mean, at the same time, Complexity have just been so methodical in their approach to Slayers throughout this tournament.
And let's be honest, it's got to be Ryan Noob, big brain, galaxy brain stuff, right? He's seen Sentinels choke on that game type before with a big lead, so he decided, you know what, we'll give them a large lead, knowing that if they have a lead, they're more likely to choke it than if we're leading, maybe they'll come back. You know, that's clearly what happened there. I'm absolutely, completely BSing, chat. That's not what happened. Complexity had to work really hard. According to the chat, and you know, I should know better than to trust the chat. According to the chat, Breaking Shot might have possibly went on a killing frenzy during that comeback there. So insane individual performances there, but you know, obviously it's a team effort, but you know, what a way to capitalize. Going on a killing frenzy against anyone is pretty incredible, let alone that Sentinels roster. But that series is all tied up 1-1. But Mikowski, let's hop back into this series here. OpTic taking on Pure. OpTic as well, looking to hopefully tie this series up 1-1, similar to what we just saw Complexity do.
Yeah, like we said, Breaking Shot, when he gets 15 slays, Complexity, I've never seen him lose that. So, Trippy, needing a big game here to tie up this series. Dead Zone with the camo, looking to drop down the backside of PD, takes the back of Cherish. Now it's Last Shot trying to spot him out. Dead Zone does a good job to avoid that lane and that line of sight that Last Shot was looking through. He gets a little close, and with the repulsor sticky, you're right, Eli, there are 2 power weapons on streets.
So smart. I mean, if you are sitting in the right spot, you know your opponent's going to walk through. You've got that in the pocket. They have no option but to just explode. Like, there's no way to get away from the grenade. Like, you literally, there's no counterplay to that, and you only get a couple of charges of it as he tries it a second time, but a little bit more room to work with as that member of OpTic survive. But OpTic still up by 3 here, despite some heads-up plays on the side of Pure.
And make no mistake about it, Last Shot absolutely playing for his life, not just his tournament life, but the life of his contract. I mean, we saw what Avicii was doing all day yesterday. He's got to show up and show out. You can't come back to the squad and have the squad play worse with you, right? All jokes aside, it's so great to see that he is safe and able to perform. And you know, so far Pure on a little bit of a run here today. And you know, they're never out of it with this squad of Pure. You know, we mentioned it yesterday. Dogs on that roster, right? It doesn't matter how far down they are in a game, they all believe that they can, you know, bring it back. And Mikowski, I mean, that's something you can't really teach a mindset like that.
You're absolutely right, and too, and there would be a little bit of this, like, man, it felt and looked a little bit better with Avicii. So yeah, good to see Pure bounce back. They're back in form, and we talked about this actually earlier in the day, Hunter. Pure, it's not going to take all day for them to adjust, but they needed a series. They needed that winter final, or winter semifinal, excuse me, to readjust to having Last Shot back on the team, because they had to readjust to having Avicii. It's a little bit of a seesaw of adaptability from Pure that we've seen this weekend, but with Trey Try leading the way as the coach, I'm not surprised to see them back on their steez and back in the mix in game 2, only down by 3.
They brought it back to within 1, as they do again. Last Shot, huge survival with this camo. He's now tied it up. I don't know how this man stays alive in half the situations that he does. Dead Zone gets the sticky kill before being traded out. And looks like the OpTic push is going to be heavily on this B side. If Pure are able to recognize this, they can slowly pinch them. Yes, they're going to have 2 guys on the left side. Someone's going to swing in through the right. I don't think all 4 members have been located yet, so they might be a little bit trepidatious in their approach here. Maybe not pushing all the way into C, but as soon as they recognize that all 4 are on this side, I expect the push to come in and collapse from Pure. The collapse does not work out. They go 3 dead. Wow.
39.
Interesting enough there. I was a little nervous for OpTic. It looked a little season 1-esque, right? Their spacing, they were really bunched up, and I felt like that was maybe an opportunity for Pure to capitalize, to pounce all over them. But OpTic able to kind of like brute force, will their way through that situation. Off the back of Lucid, let's be honest, he kind of flew out there as a solo saying, we got to get out of this situation. And, you know, OpTic now holding on to a 2-kill lead. Mikowski, this one's coming down to the wire.
This could get close. Druck now pushing up on the B rail, still down by 2. Formal has the heaven positioning, but has to drop after some good reactive shots from Druck. It's Last Shot, though, in the arcade with the Stalker. You can see the positioning of Pure trying to draw some players through this lane. He takes the bait, but takes some good shots onto Last Shot. That doesn't give him the optimal scenario that we were building up, as OpTic seem content to take a 2-kill lead into the next camo, which should force some of these guys to push off their mark.
Camo certainly going to force some movement here, as both teams have been unwilling to relinquish their positioning. With this camo up, usually the team on the A side has a better chance of getting it because they likely have that shroud in play, but that's a huge shutdown as a player lags out of the game. And that one hurts because we were so close to the finish line there, and everything that just happened will basically just not even matter.
I think you just go full reset, right? You're not going to be like, hey, you played a 49 and we'll play a 50. I don't know. Maybe they will do that. Who knows? Man. But an absolute heater of a game there, cut short, unfortunately. But we've got more Halo action coming your way. Currently completely tied up, 0-0 on the rounds, but 45-45 in Oddball. Mikowski, it's Complexity taking on Sentinels. I mean, Complexity starting to kind of, you know, find their groove a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, excuse me, shoot. Tied 1-1.
Wow. Days without cussing, 0.
Fine.
I'm so sorry. Find me, Louie. I'll expect the email in my inbox here momentarily. But the action has been just so good. I lost my mind. I lost my train of thought. 45-60 now as Sentinels breaks the tie. And this series has been really, really good. 3 go down, though, for Complexity. 2 for Sentinels. They're going to maintain ball control at that number's edge.
This is what happens when you do more broadcasts with tools than you do with me, right? You just, the mouth just kind of goes out the window. Whatever. You know, we're here. We're locked in. We're stoked. Complexity now with a setup here on the C side. Looks like they're going to be doing a little bit of rotation. Eli, I love to see how the meta on this specifically has, you know, adjusted from holding the ball into a base to now holding the ball in a lane where you can have options and, you know, call audibles and go either way.
Right. It's a very flexible, adaptable style, right? If you're on this overshield side, you can wait for intel, know which side they're coming from, rotate the ball in the opposite direction. If you're the team aggressing, though, that means you need to kind of preemptively cut off the potential rotate once you show on one side. I think that teams are kind of adjusting. The meta is just so evolved on Oddball. It gets very mixy, very heads-up rotations that we see across the board, especially between two very heady teams like Complexity and Sentinels.
Perfect.
Decision now. Ooh, drops into the vent, but Breaky Shot has that spotted out. Camo gonna need to be spotted out. Again, Complexity with 2 potential heads-up plays to take down 1 in the vents. 2 via the camo, and Boo Boo Doo Boo, the best camo player in Halo. I'll say it again. Despite going down, he is. And that just really points to how big that was for Complexity. Those 2 heads-up slays might just get them back in the mix. Less than 2 to go in regulation, and they're down by less than 20, about to be 10.
Oh, Breaking Shot with the clutch back smack on precision keeps Rain alive. Doesn't look like they're aware of Boo Boo's positioning, though. He gets behind enemy lines, kills Rain. Husko's down as well, but I'm not sure if they know about Breaking Shot. He did take some grenade damage. Sometimes the Spartan will make a grunting noise. Okay, looks like Falcated was at least somewhat aware of his location.
What are you playing?
What are you talking about?
Eli's not wrong. I was actually, it's really funny you brought that up, Eli, because I was going to call it out. I was like, I wonder if he made a noise there, because that is oftentimes a dead giveaway when you throw the nade. They may not have the hit markers, but them Spartans still be screaming out in agony. And you can kind of tell, depending on the voice line, how hard they got hit by the nade as well, if you're really paying attention. So Breaking Shot, though, one of the things I really respect about his game is his ability to just stop on a dime. Like, he is go, go, go 90% of the time, don't get me wrong, but as soon as he realizes that, you know, he doesn't have the team support coming or his teammates are on respawn screen, that dude will just stop wherever he is and post up and cut angles. And it's just a really, really interesting and something I feel like a lot of players in matchmaking could learn from. It's not always about just holding dead forward on your analog stick or the W key, right? Oftentimes you got to stop, reset, analyze and assess the situation and make a better play out of it.
Look at the chat box. Formal says he suggested what you kind of said wouldn't be the case. Maybe Justin was, you guys want to play to 49 and we'll play to 50. And Drux says, well, I won't say this again. I don't want 2 fines. He says TF. Well, I guess I'm down. And the chair says, no, dude, let's full reset this. Come on, play to 49 and 50. Like, oh, Lucid though. Oh, that's an alpha call, man. He says,
yeah,
no,
he just
we're
says
playing
it with
to
the
49, 50. And Druk. I thought he would counter back with a little bit more fight, like we're used to seeing in the game, but in the chat box, a little bit of gamesmanship being played here between OpTic and Pure before the game even starts.
I think Pure's going to stake them now. It's like, you wanted to sweat us over 1 kill, let's beat you by 30 real quick. No, that's not going to happen. But yeah, interesting to see them kind of, you know, cutting teeth a little bit there over the 1 kill situation. But Street Slayer, we've seen it come down to 1 kill time and time again. So I understand OpTic wanting to keep their advantage no matter how slim of an advantage it is. Eli, if you're in this situation, like, what side are you taking here?
I mean, when they lagged out, they had a 1 kill lead. It should be 50-49. I don't think there's much conversation to be had, to be honest. I mean, that's just how it works. That's always how it's worked.
It was in the chat, though.
Yeah, but I mean, you could like argue the timing of the kill. Like, you guys wouldn't have got that extra kill if we didn't lag out. But the problem is, it was OpTic that lagged out. So like, if they have a 1 kill lead and they're the team that lagged out, like, you keep the 1 kill lead. So
yeah, for being really by the book about it, obviously that makes sense. I also, like, if the team I'm playing against wanted the full re, I don't think I would sweat them over the 1 kill either. You know what I mean? Because you know, vibes are important. But from a competitive standpoint, yeah, I mean, I can see either way. But we're hopping back into the game now, and it looks a lot like last game. Tied 3-3 to start things off, Mikowski.
Yeah, keep in mind, chat, OpTic needs 49 pure. Need a traditional 50 as we hop on board here with Lucid. Grabs the camo off the start. Started the last game 0-3 or 0-4, I want to say. So eyeing a better start here with the camo, and he does just that.
I do want to point out before you guys get confused, because I know this is going to happen, they did change the score to 1-0 to start, so it will still go to 50.
Wow, okay.
Because in the top left, the top left, you see 5 kills added up. They got 6 in the bottom left, so just keep an eye on that.
Details. I also was going to bring up the point, Eli, that we know this OpTic roster hasn't exactly had the best luck when it comes to restart or crash situations, right? So you got to imagine that play factors into their thought process. They're like, we just got to take our advantage. Everyone else is, you know, taking their advantages over us in these types of scenarios. So yeah, it's kind of a little bit of world's prep there, a little bit of cutthroat. We got to win, and yeah, I don't think they want to be on the receiving end of some of these resets like they were at the last event.
Cherished. High side positioning at the heaven mark. High side in the lobby with 4 slays to start this one off. Truck with the commando. It looks more like a dolphin with the first person point of view with that skin on. Not sure exactly where you can get that in the Halo shop. Truck nonetheless, though, gonna dance his way through. Let's talk about the commando, Justin. I've loved the rise of the commando. No patch notes to it, but with the bandit rate of fire getting nerfed, the commando has found its way back into the mix. Halo competition.
I mean, the fact that you included me in the conversation, is this what it's like to have friends? The commando is it's one of the most interesting weapons to me because it's gone through phases, right? Like, it's been completely broken, it's been completely asinine, and everything in between. I feel like it's finally in a good spot, right? Like, it's not as easy as players like Lucid make it out to be, if I'm being honest. Like, anyone that's actually played the game at remotely a high level understand, like, you gotta drill pretty much the majority of those shots, if not all those shots, to compete against a bandit, even after the patch. But these players, some of these pro players, I mean, their aim is just so smooth, so clean, and it's really cool to see the bandit being used. Also, too, like, the removal of the shotguns, right? Like, it does benefit the rest of the sandbox. Like, for me personally, I might not grab the commando as much, but I love the BR right now. I love where the BR is sitting in kind of the competitive landscape. Really cool to see, you know, there's the argument of like, oh, we limit the sandbox when, you know, we remove certain weapons, but at the same time, I feel like it's kind of buffed the sandbox because the things that are there actually matter. So, commando and BR, if you guys are playing matchmaking, you guys see those things on a wall rack, pick them up.
Absolutely. I think the commando actually has a faster TTK than the other 2 bandit and BR tied, but the caveat is commando is situationally more difficult to use, I would say. You've got to be, you can't just pull the trigger at max speed. You've got to like kind of hold it for a bit, feather the trigger, reset that bloom feature, make sure that your next set of shots are more accurate. But if you can land your shots and you've got good aim, as all the players in this lobby do, it's usually going to come out ahead against a bandit or a BR.
Early on, OpTic up by 2. And after 2 more go down from Pure, they're going to extend out on that lead. Talik dead to rights, not looking the direction of that commando. And the players in the lobby must have heard us, or Nighty Night is just trolling us, because ever since we brought up the conversation around the commando, it's been the hands of all of these players. So clearly there is an added emphasis to use more than just the bandit heading into the Halo World Championship.
Normal tries to grab the camo. I don't think he burned it. Yes, Talik was able to pick it up. He's going to quickly rotate to his teammate's safety. Druk doesn't need any help, though. Wins that 1v1 without any of Talik's help. At the same time, Last Shot winning a 1v1 on the other side of the map. That's exactly the type of thing they needed to tie up this game. Druck winning another fight against Formal in a very patient 3-shot beatdown from Talik on Lucid. Lucid, by the way, spotted out the camo, I think, before Talik had revealed himself. So camo eyes, kind of the tale of today. Nobody seemingly invisible with the camo.
Druck, so incredibly talented, insane shot, plays on 120 FOV. That situation right there, like, I'm Talik, I'm coming over with camo, I know Druck is weak, I'm coming to save his life. He wins that fight. I'm gassing him up. I'm saying, let's go, Druck, like, good shots, but you don't realize, like, the ripples, the effects of him winning that one fight. They end up with 2 players on B instead of 1. They melt down the next guy, they get full control of that lane, and now they're in the lead, right? They were down 2 kills prior to acquiring that camo, now they have a 1-kill lead, so a little bit of a 3-kill swing there off of some excellent individual plays from both Talik and Druck, and you're going to need all those if you're going to take down a team like OpTic.
Here we go.
100%.
Reaching the 30s. What do you got, Eli?
I was just gonna say, yeah, the people don't think about the butterfly effect. Every time you stay alive without trading, you're still in the mix for the next fight. That's why the most important thing in Halo is to literally stay alive. Like, as long as you are outputting damage and you're active on the map and you're staying alive, it doesn't even matter if you're getting kills, as long as you're not giving up your life for free. Because especially in this game, with how easy it is to press your advantage state, as soon as you're the first domino to fall, the rest of your teammates are the rest of the dominoes to fall. So just stay alive and active on the map. Druck putting that on full display.
Yeah, I know. We talked about that a lot when we had roles on teams. Imagine that in season 1. That 1 kill is not just 1 kill; it's a +1 for you, but a -1 for the other side. So it really counts for 2. In the grand scheme of things, looking at it philosophically, as OpTic have relinquished control of the game, and it's spiraling out of control. Pure might just go up 2-0 in this series. They're up by 5 heading into the 40s.
I mean, Lucid just had to say we're playing a 49, right? You just pissed them off. Now Pure's angry. Look at it. Cherish is getting doubles on the map. They're starting to run away with it. I thought, you know, we might see a stake. Obviously, we're not going to get one of those, but Pure playing with a little bit of extra heat here down the stretch, and this is exactly when you want to turn up in a Slayer, Eli. Like, you know, the early game, it's all about feelers, it's all about info, it's all about, you know, trying to establish yourself, but in the late game, it's time to turn on the jets.
100%, and it feels bad, right? OpTic were 8 kills from finishing the last game before the reset. They're the ones that lag out, and now they're playing at a pretty massive deficit going into the end game. They've done well in the last couple interactions here. They've gotten 4 kills unanswered to bring it down within 2 kills now. So OpTic keeping themselves alive, and they want to make sure that, yeah, they might have pissed off Pure, but they're going to make sure they close out what they should have done the first time.
And OpTic making me eat my words. I'm totally cool with it, honestly. It's for the entertainment purposes of it. This game just became a game, and it's so much more fun to watch because of it. Some great shots there out of Trippy to clean up that kill. But yeah, Mikowski, I mean, OpTic, they could have easily folded right there, but they're starting to lock in.
This is what you get, World Championship resolve, and that's what we know of to be a characteristic of the big 3. You take a lead on them in a match or in a series, and it's like the lean forward meme. 41 all here, as OpTic Gaming, previously down by 5 just moments ago, have tied things up at 41.
Formal looking AFK, but he's just waiting for somebody to rotate through this red room. With Camo coming up, gonna shift his focus. Spot's last shot though, knows at least one member of Pure is aware of his location. Druck gets the slay. Talik gets another on Trippy that should earn them the camo as well. Dead Zone actually bottom middle though. Maybe Dead Zone got the camo while all this was happening. No, it doesn't look like he has it. Not sure what happened to camo.
There it is.
Oh, there it is. Still on the ground.
It's hiding underneath that item. One of the cushions from the bench hides the camo, and now Dead Zone hides from any frag damage. Looking to stay alive and take advantage of the final 22 seconds on this camo. Tied 44 all. The game is up to Zane, and he's making the most of it. Takes down last shot on the planters, and now with that slay, Pure are going to have to watch out for the push from OpTic. They're going to collapse here.
And this is redemption for Zane from last game's camo play at the end of the game, right? He plays it perfect this time. All the players of Pure getting wiped. Last shot hiding in a corner, scared for his life. Gets the audio onto Lucid there. He's going to take him down. So a great play out of last shot, though, to make the best out of a pretty terrible situation. Does not take down Trippy, though, but the damage cleanup is going to be there. But, man, what a difference in that camo usage that time, and the game is over. OpTic pulling things back. I mean, they were down, what, 37, 38 to 31. Realized they need to lock in quick, and just like that, it's now a 1-1 series, Eli, which is a lot different than being down 0-2 in this moment.
OpTic locked in, man. They were down by quite a bit, but not sure what happened at the end there for Pure as well. They had 2 dead as the camo spawned, but nobody in position to grab the camo. So it kind of felt like a situation where Dead Zone should not have been able to just go to the center of the map with only 1 surviving teammate to secure the camo. Great heads up play by him, gets the most out of it to tie things up, and things are getting interesting. We got a 1-1 tie on the other side as well, but it's Sentinels with a massive lead in round 1 of Oddball.
And I do want to bring up
a reset though.
I think it is sure. Actually,
because they were tied 45 all in round 1.
Yeah.
And without a dot in the middle of the screen, somebody's up 1-0 in this game. We're gonna wait for word from the admins to determine who. Or the chat. Maybe we'll trust you guys.
I mean, looking at the kill feed, I don't think they've gotten 10 or 15 kills in the 20 minutes that we were watching that other Slayer. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, to bring up your, that last point, Eli, about that camo, I really do think that Mikowski brought up an excellent point. You know, we love our ground clutter in Halo, obviously, and there was a little sandbag covering the camo. And I mean, at the end of the day, that could have been the difference maker in that game, because it did seem like Pure got the wipe at the right time to secure the camo, but they couldn't find it.
They thought it got burned. I imagine with all the fracas and melee that occurred in that sequence, they thought maybe it got burned, but it was hiding underneath a cushion. I mean, oh man, when have we ever said that on broadcast? Never.
The thing is, I don't know if the debris on the map is not server side, it's client side. So that means that what some debris looks like on one person's screen doesn't necessarily look like it on the other person's screen. So the observer saw that. I don't know. You'd have to go back and see it from a first-person POV to know what I'm talking about. But like, if you go and break a bunch of sandbags, they're going to be in different spots on different people's screens. Unfortunately, regardless, I think it was just a positioning problem. I think it was a positioning problem from Pure, or maybe they went for it and got killed on the way to it. But either way, OpTic going to take full advantage.
Absolutely, but hopping back over to this series, Sentinels with a firm lead here in game number 3. Series is tied up though, Mikowski, so the swing game, we're in it.
84 to a rolling 20, Complexity. And there would have, there absolutely was because Complexity was the blue team previously. So somebody's up 1-0 in this one. So this is either a clincher or a tie scenario. Sentinels up by 50 seconds in this one. Still plenty of time left in regulation, so somebody's going to reach 100 in this one. Sentinels has the best chance to, but in that moment, Complexity regain control of the Oddball.
Hey, don't get it twisted. This is a clincher no matter what, just being in this game. You know what I'm saying? It's a pretty intense game here, pretty closely matched between these two teams. Back on board as well with our picture-in-picture OpTic and Pure as well in their swing game 3. Love to see both of these series tied up, because we've been seeing quite a bit of blowouts both yesterday and today.
Dead Zone with the sniper. Gonna try to secure this camo, but for now just gonna use it as bait. Just gonna watch over Trippy while he goes for it. Poor Trippy, I feel like he just always uses the bait on this squad. Like all the other 3 of these guys, just like, yeah, Trippy, go in, let us know where they are, we'll kill them all after that. He's just constantly in that position, but I think he kind of enjoys it.
Hey, somebody's got to be the bait. Somebody's got to hold the Oddball. I mean, it's a thankless job, but if it's one that gets the job done, Trippy will take it. Trippy takes the Oddball momentarily, but the pressure from Pure, not able to hold on to it for much longer. No scope to the hip, takes down 1. Wasting some ammunition, it feels like, his Dead Zone after 2 of his teammates fall, sensing the pressure down the backside of A. Gets back in the fight, reshields, repositions. Oh, and then waits for help. That was a heads-up play there from Dead Zone. Eli, I know you'll appreciate that one if you were to break it down in a Metafy session.
For sure, and by the way, they ended the game after Sentinels won that first round, so it looks like Sentinels must have won at least one other round before, or exactly one other round before, and that's why they will take a 2-1 lead in that series. That one's heating up. Complexity would like to force a game 5, but not sure what the game type list is. And right now, OpTic gonna make a smart rotation over to this B side as they lose a few members. Want to get the ball to a position they can play it off the map, but they don't need to yet. Dead Zone picking up a double kill means they should get at least another 10 seconds of Oddball time.
Enemy has the ball.
Formal now. And OpTic in the lead here in the early goings of this game. A huge game 3. I always, it's the reverse sweep trampoline game 3 Oddball when you're down 0-2, but tied 1-all. It is a massive edge. Traditionally in Halo, you win game 3 tied 1-all. It's a 75% chance to win the series. I'd argue it goes up to 80% when you win it in an Oddball. because of the energy dispersion needed to win a long, potentially 20-minute match.
These long game types are absolute character builders. Being in these series, Eli, you know, if you pull out the win after a long, you know, the win is going to energize you, right? Whereas if you are in a grueling 25-30 minute and you end up with the loss, it's kind of like, why did I even bother expending that energy? You know what I mean? You kind of have to hit the mental reset. You got to make sure your energy is up. You're not going to have the dopamine boost or the adrenaline boost of coming away with that win. And there's the entire psychology factor of a series and of a long series. And that's what's always impressed me so much about, you know, teams like SSG is that they seem to just improve game on game no matter how long the series is. Unfortunately, you know, today didn't go the way they were hoping. But that's the difference between a team like SSG and a team like Pure, in my opinion. You know, Pure's still a new team. They burn real hot when they're on, you know what I mean? But yet to be seen, you know, ooh, a triple kill coming from Talik. Insane shots there. He's a man on a mission, Eli.
Absolutely is. I mean, look at these peak shots. This guy is so hard to kill. Always so active on the map. But no, I agree. I mean, just me playing matchmaking, if I lose a 26-minute oddball game, and I just put my heart and soul into it, like, dude, it's just matchmaking and I'm in a bad mood. Like,
oh yeah, I'm getting off.
You know, I literally might end the stream because of it. Like, but these guys, like, with a lot more on the line, it's got to hurt even more, right? Like, these matches actually matter. They're not for 5 CSR. They're for $5,000. So, yeah, it's a big deal. It's an energy sucker to lose a match like that.
Oh, gotta love being on the mic with you guys. You guys have just been spitting pure facts out.
Double kill.
Normal, spitting out a little bit of ammunition with that sniper. Gets 2 and gets the oddball back in the hands of Dead Zone. 46-63 though, so OpTic with a little bit of meat left on the bone to reclaim the lead that they once had early on in this match.
2 bullets to work with. No targets on his screen though. Looks like Lucid finds a double kill before he gets... Oh, he's still alive. I was going to say before he gets taken out, but he's still alive over here. Might make it a third. Oh! The big brain teleport. You know, he knew exactly where that portal was and how to adjust his reticle on the other side.
Reticle was lined up before he even got through the portal.
That was slick.
He also knew that in that situation that Cherish is more apt to fight that to the death. So he knew in this fight, like, I can exploit the fact that he's going to come sliding in fully committed and use that information to my advantage. He knew where the QT was. He knew exactly where he needed to look. It was just an excellent individual play there out of Lucid, who, curiously enough, though, is only sitting at 6-6. Interesting to see him having a more, you know, I guess you could say mid-game. Trippy, though. I mean, Trippy all weekend has been absolutely unbelievable.
Yes.
Sitting at 12-8 right now. I don't think people, especially, you know, newer folks to the scene that maybe jumped in with Infinite, don't realize the goated talent that Trippy is. Like, this guy is an all-time great when it comes to talent level and execution, and it's awesome seeing him step up in a different way when his team has needed him here this weekend.
I think he's kind of taken a new role as well since Dead Zone joined the team. I think that he's kind of taken a similar role that APG held and being typically more of a support player, but this weekend he has been popping off in the stat sheet, often having the most kills in the lobby, and was actually a stand-up performer on Halo Data Hive when I looked at one of their last series, I think against ITB. Dead Zone had one of his worst stat performances that we've seen, but Trippy absolutely popped off, so it didn't even matter.
Enemy has the ball.
A good teammate can negate your bad games, right? Eli, we've all been there. Kelsey's been there, where you just have an absolute. Let's just say you play like poo-poo, okay? You have a real bad game, but somehow you still come out the win. It's like, I want to kiss all my teammates on the face at that point, right? It's like, guys, I couldn't have played worse, yet somehow we came out the dub. Thank you. You know?
I mean, I feel like that every time I show up to a LAN and I see Eli.
No, I literally will say that in a matchmaking game. Like, we win when I'm having a terrible game. I'm like, I literally did nothing. Like, you guys are amazing. Like, thank you for just carrying me to victory. Because sometimes you can't play perfect all the time. We're humans, right? So it's always nice when your squad steps up to make up for a tough game.
especially as we're getting older. Right? I feel like for a while it was like my bad games were, you know, few and far between, whereas now it's like my good games are becoming fewer and farther in between. You know what I mean? I'm like, I just want to have one good game before I get off this session. Yeah, shout out to the matchmaking teammates that actually hold it down out there, and Calm. Love you guys. You know, we roast the ones that anchor us, but we don't give enough love to the ones that show up and show out, and they're out there in the trenches every single day. Sick plays coming out here from OpTic. The sniper in hand, body shot comes down. Lucid cleaning everything up now. Lucid, since we last caught up with him, he was 6-6. Now he's 14-9. Oh, how fast the turns table when it comes to this guy.
Yeah, just a matter of time.
Lucid being Lucid, he is regaining that championship form that we saw towards the end of season 2. Formal now. The snipe, 2 shots in the rack, 2 shots to reload for a total of 4. Grabs the oddball. I almost wonder if that's to bait a push in here on the cuts, thinking, oh, someone's holding it, we can make our move, but they get cut down at the cuts instead. Formal doesn't have to disperse any damage out. He might be able to grab the oddball here. So many slays racking up for OpTic, but Pure are trading out. Formal with that snipe. My God, here's what we were expecting with it. Efficiency, more slays.
Formal saying, why you look away from me, dog? I'm fighting you. It's turned to shoot one of Formal's teammates, and Formal's like, what are you doing? Like, I'm just going to kill you for free. So, great shots. He's looking absolutely in control with this sniper. He's going to have to reroute, though, as he runs out of ammo. Great push coming in from Pure. Left Formal, very little options to work with. But still a 15-second lead early for OpTic, and they've still got positioning here in the garage. They're not going to make it easy for Pure to get out.
Dead zone, trying to stay alive. 1 HP. He is absolute. A simple body shot would take him down. Missing that repulsor jump. He does stay alive. Nice drag toss there from Druck 2 times. Take down dead zone cleanly, maintain his life. Zane did do a good amount of damage though, so Druck gonna have to do the same job we saw from dead zone. Re-shielding, repositioning. Really wonder where Druck's gone at this point, because he might be causing chaos for OpTic. And yes, he does take down Formal. Trade out occurs in the rat tunnel. 3 go down for OpTic. Druck is causing chaos. He gets another one, grabs the oddball, and after the team wipe for Pure, they should be able to tie it. Oh, look at Formal here, pushing out the line of scrimmage as the last Spartan standing and getting close spawns for OpTic Gaming. This is the heads-up play you expect from a world champ.
And Eli, one of the things that I've just been noticing, and I'm interested to get your take on it, from this OpTic Gaming roster, a way that something they've added to their game is just the sheer speed that they get back to situations in. You know, before it seemed like they really wanted everything to be a 4-stack, SWAT team, this is the police type of deal, whereas now we're seeing guys get back in the mix. I mean, Pure was in that battle, it felt like forever. It felt like they fought 8 guys. They weren't able to get quite as much ball time because just when you thought that the push was halted, the spawners were already back in the mix, right? Hitting the drop slides and getting in there. I feel like OpTic overall has just upped their pace, and it's so suffocating to play against.
I think they're just recognizing that that's the game plan of teams like SSG, right? If there's any active damage on the map, the spawners are coming off with just an insane level of urgency to make sure that damage is followed up on. OpTic maybe recognizing, hey, every play doesn't have to be perfect for us to maintain control of the situation. We can continue to aggress and then stabilize when the time is right. And you're exactly right. They've made adding that gear to their playstyle has made them even more dangerous.
17-37 here. Druck, really in my eyes, springboarded this 20-second lead for Pure after staying alive in the rat tunnels, taking down dead zone. Formal, and then Lucid grabbed onto the oddball and scored more time, and now it's Pure with it once again. But with this push from OpTic Gaming, they're able to force a reset and a team wipe. Pure go 4 down, probably spawning B here. Yes, that's where last shot spawns, but with positioning for Lucid, he's gonna force a split.
I think Lucid was actually going for the cheeky QT play there. He waited for him to spawn and then immediately QT to B, but fight didn't go the way he wanted to, so he QTs back to his team and stays in control. On that last team fight, I mean, OpTic was in a best case scenario. They were able to wipe Pure 4 dead without losing a single person, and because of that, they've put 20 seconds on the board, narrowing the gap to just a 10-point lead. I apologize for Pure there. Pure though on the early rotation, early ball spawn, and they're looking to answer back with a setup of their own.
That was a crazy plasma pistol shot. I cannot believe that connected. I feel like I shoot that, it misses 9 out of 10 times. Lucid's just different though, I guess. He's Gonna rotate through and find 3 one-shot players. Can he finish them all? He can.
Triple
And the
kill.
perfect cleanup crew arrival. That's gonna lead to a lot of ball time. They've also got camo and a comfortable A setup. If you're spawning at B though, they're gonna have to figure a way out, but no, Formal with that first pick is massive. It's gonna delay the push even further.
Perfect prioritization of opponents. Did you see that there? Druck was actually presenting the most damage and danger to Lucid, but he took his aim towards the player in the back. I believe that was Pollock at the time. Allowed Druck to slide behind the pillar where he couldn't do damage to Lucid, and then reset his focus on him for the triple kill. And off of that, OpTic regained control of the Oddball and this lead.
And I do have to update the folks at home in the chat. We saw in the picture-in-picture, Complexity and Sentinels currently knotted up 3 flag caps apiece on Aquarius flag. Complexity obviously trying to force a game 5 there. Sentinels trying to close things out and head to the next round. So heated match going on over there as well. But on this side, OpTic has completely turned things around, Eli. They went from being down, 10, 20, 30 seconds in this round to now being up by 33 seconds to be exact. Pure finally able to break that setup, but man, OpTic has turned on the heat here.
OpTic were extremely proactive in that situation. So the prior play, when you have the ball hold in A, you do not want enemies to spawn at green unless you're in perfect positions to stop them from getting out. But Lucid proactively pushes out to green so that they can rotate the ball in that direction, ensure that Pure can't spawn there anymore, and then you're going to be able to take the ball to a position where you can just play it off the map in case things go south. But all the while, they were able to get a ton of ball time, and look at Dead Zone just being so annoying with the Oddball. Finally gets taken down, but not before OpTic take a 36-second lead.
Final seconds here. 37 seconds left and about a 30-second lead for OpTic Gaming. So this gets to where you might see some balls dropped. Play for time and the win here as OpTic are up 1-0 in this game 3, a crucial game 3 again. Oh my God, Sentinels 2-1 lead over Complexity. Sentinels tie it in the final 90 seconds. We're tied 4-all. That game looks insane.
Yeah, crazy run there from Sentinels to answer back after having just been capped on. Now tied up 4 flags apiece. No matter what, we are in a sudden death situation down there. Complexity fighting for their lives. Here comes a push from them as well. Breaking shot with a nice double kill there. I'm just going to cast both sides. Breaking shot on the bottom gets taken down on the top. OpTic pushing in through the big door. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. I'm going to make my brain go cross-eyed real fast. But Eli on the side here of OpTic Game. I mean, Pure has closed the gap here, though. It's coming down to a 1-push game. Eli, at this point, you just got to send it.
Absolutely. I mean, they don't have much time to work with. Looks like Cherished just wants to go in and output damage. He knows the cavalry is on the way behind him. Could have maybe stutter stepped a slight bit, but look at how difficult Formal is making himself be to be killed. And it's just nonstop chaos. I don't know if the chaos is going to end. No, it finally will. Lucid will earn the last couple seconds, and OpTic go up 2-1 in the series. On the other side, we got 30 seconds remaining between Complexity and Sentinels. The action never stops.
30 seconds left, and Complexity are looking to keep their tournament hopes alive with a last-second nail-biter 5-4 finish, but they drop 3. 2 drop for Sentinels, though, so it's not all but lost for them. But oh my goodness, with this flag at the top middle location, Falcated might just end the game. Complexity coming off spawn. I don't think that they have what it takes to stop this one. Look at Sentinels. They push all in. All the chips go in towards the score. They get it. And they'll send Complexity packing. Sentinels having themselves about as good of a day as you could want or imagine heading into the Halo World Championship. Complexity had themselves a great day too, but it gets spoiled by the likes of Sentinels, who now aren't having those end game fumbles like we've seen in the past. They're actually icing up after ice up after ice up after ice up. Sentinels will win in that series, and OpTic will take a 2-1 lead in this one.
Yeah, and for everyone in Sen City, this is exactly the version of Sentinels you want to see, right? And for us at home, this leads to some interesting conversations. I really hope that we'll also get this hot version of Sentinels at Worlds next weekend, because that could absolutely make things interesting, right? The top 4 all of a sudden gotta ask some questions. There's some matchups there. They can really throw a rock into that mix, and so great to see Sentinels, coming out and playing on fire here on Championship Sunday. No better time to do it. They've answered the call. But also shout out to Complexity with a great showing this weekend. taking down OpTic in the winners bracket, you know, pushing it to a top 6, I believe, finish is what they will close the weekend out in. I know they were obviously hoping for more, but nonetheless establishing themselves in that top 6 and making sure no one sleeps on them. But this series in front of us, it's not over yet, Eli. It's 2-1 OpTic. Pure heading into an Aquarius CTF. And if you're Pure, what's the game plan here looking like? What's the mental reset looking like here? You're trying to force a game 5 against OpTic.
They got to keep the pressure on OpTic. The problem with this situation right here is yesterday this looked like OpTic's best game type. I mean, we saw them completely dismantle Complexity. Now, granted, that was before Complexity made a miraculous reverse sweep, but like the game 1 of that series was not even close to being close. It was a 5-0 in emphatic fashion. Complexity barely even touched the OpTic flag. OpTic were playing perfectly at the 50-yard line, taking advantage of every situation. They seem to have this game type down to a science. If they can play similarly than they did yesterday, I don't think Pure have a chance, but I think if Pure can get some early momentum, get some overshields, they could flip the situation.
And it's a total arena style map, right? No power weapons, the overshield for grabs up in top center. Mikowski, you know, you see different approaches. This is one of the approaches. Just kind of send it and throw the overshield as far as you can. OpTic going for a little bit more calculated approach, trying to get their slays in the bag first. It's kind of Final Boss-esque, right? From back in the day, they always like to over-secure and over-slay the situation to make sure that they came out ahead.
Yeah, you can see Cherished. He had great mobility, landed all of his jumps to grab the overshield first, but like you said, Final Boss-esque was OpTic Gaming playing for the slays off the start. In that moment, this moment, plays across the board. Only 2 players left alive in the lobby. It's Aulic who gets the slay out of it, which gives him the 50-yard line. Can he hold it, though? 1v1 with Lucid. Frag toss goes out, but he goes down.
This is one of the things I mentioned yesterday that I just love about Cherish, right? We saw him spawn up, go for the desperate overshield play. He gets melted down, but immediately off spawn, he comes back on the map and gets a double kill, Eli. And, you know, for a player to be that aggressive, that confident in themselves, it really speaks volumes to his preparation, his ability to study the game, and he's coming confident.
I think he kind of answers the question that a lot of people had when this roster dropped Collect and picked up Cherish. At the time, Cherish certainly less decorated than Collect at the time, but we're starting to see why. His playstyle just kind of fits into that hyper-aggressive, non-stop action playstyle that Pure look to go for, and he's a big reason why they're able to put maximum pressure on some of the best players in the world.
Not to mention, I mean, anyone who's spent time with Cherish knows that he's just a vibe to be around, right? And you know, I view building Halo teams kind of similar to how I view being on tour, right? Like, yeah, the talent has to be there to the level it needs to be, but the vibes are so important. You're spending so much time with your teammates, going over film, you know, having to discuss losses, you know, you go through a lot of hardship together, and you got to surround yourself with people that you're going to genuinely enjoy spending that time with. And I know just looking at this Pure lineup that the vibes over there are immaculate, right? These boys are just happy to be in the situation that they're in. Mikowski, and they've just been thriving. I mean, you know, probably the hottest team on the circuit this season.
Yeah, they're going to need to bounce back, though, after Lucid. Man, he was jittery, not with the strafe, but with the flag run there previously. Able to score it and really give Cherished hell with the battle rifle shots. Almost seemed like with that burst weapon, he was a step or a shot behind as Lucid skips his way to a 1-0 lead for OpTic Gaming. Now it's Aulic and Pure looking to counter.
Aulic being patient here, moves the flag forward, but has to retreat. But look at the way Pure are playing this. When one has no shields, the other one is going to take the front line for them. They're so good at keeping each other alive. Druck with the graceful herb slide mid-fight there. It's not going to matter, though. Formal going to be able to shut that down, get that flag returned, and it's still OpTic in firm control.
Yeah, and there was some crazy grenade insta-sploding death nade on top of spawn nade stuff that went down that util there. It seemed like that was going to be a clean pull for Pure. However, everyone that was running that flag just kind of exploded, spontaneously combusted. So shout out to OpTic. I mean, that was one of those game-changing off the back foot type of plays, the fadeaway nade tosses there. But as I say that, Pure with another collapse onto the base. However, OpTic are able to get 3 kills. This is going to be a nullified flag cap. And on the other side of the map, Mikowski, Lucis snuck into the base. He's pulling a flag of his own.
This is where OpTic might just take the series. They've looked better based on the eye test. The scoreboard might just reflect it here with the 2-0 lead with 8 minutes left on the clock. OpTic looking like they did against Complexity. Like Eli mentioned before this one started, they won that one 5-0, and they're cooking up something similar here. A 2-0 match lead is now putting Pure on the brink of elimination. They're going for the double cap, and they're going to get it. Absolutely. Book it. Bet it. Mark it. There's no way Pure stopped this. 3-0.
Trippy has been playing so good this game. That entire time we were on his screen, he was just managing chaotic situation after chaotic situation, keeping track of where opponents are. Obviously has some great comms coming in from his teammates. You've got literally the best information you could ask for with teammates like Lucid and Formal on your team and Lunchbox in your ear. I mean, Trippy assuredly just listening to everything and then playing perfectly based on the info being fed to him. Just really being a force on the map. Now he's got this gun that looks like it was made by Fisher Price instead of the UNSC, but it's gonna ultimately take down a couple players. They're gonna
oh my God.
look to 5-0 here.
Yeah, another flag being run by Lucid there. To throw things back to that second cap before we got to the third and now the fourth cap. I mean, insane. This is very reminiscent of the Aqua flag that we saw OpTic play yesterday against Complexity. And
it's the same.
You know, at the time we were questioning Complexity, but it might just be that OpTic is absolutely goated on this map. But to go back to that second cap that Lucid kind of snuck in there, I guarantee you the comms went something like this. Lucid sneaks into the base and says, hey guys, I'm in their base. Someone just get me a kill. And then OpTic all of a sudden get 3 kills. And he's like, well, I guess we're capping. You know what I mean? Being behind enemy lines in those situations, all you need is for your teammates to get that first pick to create an opening. And OpTic capitalizing not just with that cap, but 2 more caps after that. And now they're sitting at 4-0 here, looking to, you know, end this Aqua CTF in masterful fashion, Eli.
I'm just going to say it's over. I don't think Pure can come back from this. OpTic Gaming are using offense as a form of defense to pull more flags, kill more members of Pure. Every time I look up at the top right, there's at least 2 dead, and make it 3, make it 5-0 for OpTic Gaming once again.
Insane stuff. They just have perfect map positioning. If you want to know how to play this game type, study this film, because my God, that was insane levels of dominance. The same level of dominance we saw when they played Complexity yesterday. They've got something locked in on Aquarius CTF.
Yeah, OpTic has figured out the formula there. A 3-1 series victory over Pure with that's a crazy capstone to a series, right? A 5-0 closeout game there on Aqua CTF. And, you know, that really speaks to the work ethic of OpTic. I mean, we all, you know, have seen the streams and know the shots these guys hit and how insane they are, but you know, we don't always get to see behind the curtain the amount of work they have to put in off screen, in theater, going over film with Lucid. I mean, Aqua was not one of their best maps, I mean, even a year ago, right? Yet now they look like a completely, they've reinvented themselves on that map. And yeah, I don't think I've seen a better team on Aqua this weekend than this OpTic Gaming roster. And they punched their ticket into the next round where they're going to be taking on a hot Sentinel squad here. I can't wait for that matchup. But taking a look at the stats here, we have Formal, just a turret on the map, 4K damage, the only person in the lobby to hit 4K. Mikowski Cheris there getting a little shut down. I mean, 2,600 damage. It seems like OpTic really played his aggression against him in that game, number 4 there.
This performance from OpTic Gaming reminded me of Carbon in Halo 2, where on midship, I feel like more often than we see on Aquarius, you see double caps happen a lot, where you just time perfectly the slays with the score. And we saw that here from OpTic Gaming, able to score on a double cap, and they practically turned it into a triple cap. Here's a glimpse at it right now, and you blink and the score's 4-0. That's exactly what it looked like, even in real time.
Yeah, right there we saw Cherish getting maybe one of the only flag pulls that Pure got the entire game, and it ends up just being him isolated by himself while his team don't have as much help in the fight. Like, you could argue it would have been better for him to like guarantee his team wins the fight and then run the flag. I don't know. It's hard though when a team like OpTic has so much map control, they just don't allow you to move on the map. It seemed like there was at least one member of OpTic top center or P2 at all times.